So I wanted to do something a little different, mainly because I've been feeling really inspired. I've been feeling really like a message is basically coming through. Normally, I do forecast for the zodiac seasons. So I just did one a couple of weeks ago for Gemini season, and a couple of more weeks. One will be coming up for Cancer season. I normally don't do forecast at the beginning of the month. I normally kind of stick to the astrology based kind of zodiac months. But I've really been feeling that there is a message for June. Especially, I'm sure many of you can relate to the past couple of months where we've had, just from an astrological perspective, we've had eclipse season and we've had Mercury retrograde and Pluto retrograde began. It's been a lot. And then on top of that, we know we have had a lot happen in the world. We've had a lot happen in this country. And then when you add in the past couple of years, it just feels like a lot. It, to me, it feels we're not quite at the straw that broke the camel's back scenario, but I feel like we're close to it. We are almost there. Like, this weight is heavy. This energy is heavy. And so I started to tune in to June. And part of this is looking at the astrology of June, but also kind of tuning in to the energetics of June and what June brings up for me. And this is my interpretation of what I'm kind of seeing and feeling and sensing. And this may resonate with you, and this may not resonate with you, and that's okay. There may be parts of it that really resonate with you and parts of it that don't, and that's totally fine. But for me, I see June as a healing balm. It's really a time to slow down. It's a time to tune in. It's a time to, instead of looking outward, really turning and looking inward. The kind of image I got in my mind when it came to thinking about June is thinking of like a wound specifically. I kept seeing a bee sting. And I kind of created this little story in my head of, May and Taurus season. The bull is in the meadow and like frolicking in the flowers and taking its time and enjoying the beauty around them. And suddenly a bee stings the bull. And there is pain with that bee sting. That bee sting was unexpected. Where the bee sting is, that site may become really red and swollen, perhaps painful. And, there's only so much you can do to treat a bee sting. I tend to put like a salve, a healing balm on it to help soothe that irritation, to help soothe uh, and like cool down the inflammation, to reduce the inflammation. And so that's kind of the image I got for June. Is June is like a healing balm. It's like we have this wound and it's not healed. It's very fresh and it still stings. It may be red and swollen, but this balm, the salve, is cooling. It's soothing to the wound. And I kind of got the sense that we need to keep our cool during June. We need to step back and to give ourselves space, particularly in order to heal. That we are only going to be able to heal by giving ourselves this space, by tuning in, by intentionally applying this balm, this healing salve. And a lot of times when we are uncomfortable, we want to push through. Part of it's our society, right? We are kind of told, we have this messaging that we need to push through and persevere and like climb that mountain and, no pain, no gain, which is, oh, I don't believe in that at all. But we need to really remember to not push through this discomfort, that we have this wound, and we don't want to just ignore it. We don't want to pretend it doesn't exist. We don't want to kind of muscle our way through or force our way through to the quote unquote other side of this. That part of the healing is all about recognizing the discomfort and seeing what just being in the discomfort. Part of me was thinking like what we can learn, but there's not always something to learn about from discomfort. Sometimes things are just uncomfortable, and that's okay. There doesn't always have to be a lesson. There doesn't always have to be some higher message or reason. Things sometimes are just uncomfortable, and it's okay. And we have to trust ourselves that we can sit in that discomfort and know that eventually it will ease, it will lift, the inflammation will reduce. But it takes time. It takes time of being with it. It's just like in the scenario with the bee sting, you put the healing salve on, it doesn't suddenly make the bee sting go away. It may reduce some of the discomfort. It may make it more palatable to sit with, but it doesn't erase it. It just makes it a little easier to bear, to sit with, to endure is the wrong word, but to sit with, but not in a. I want to make it clear that I don't think this is a sit with the discomfort in a suffering way. I think it's just sitting with the discomfort of something being slightly irritating or frustrating kind of discomfort. The other thing about looking ahead to June, and as the time I'm recording this in a couple of weeks, we will have a full moon in Sagittarius. A full moon illuminates, it brings things to light, it shows us what we still need to have to like work with or to work on. And a full moon in Sagittarius in particular is going to bring up Sagittarius themes. So that's the truth, honesty, spirituality, journey, adventure, exploration, learning, teaching, especially learning in a higher education sense, philosophy, religion. And so I feel like this full moon is going to kind of integrate with this theme of healing for the month of June, and that some higher truth is going to come out, something. It's a feeling of like being laid bare, being exposed, being not being able to hide, like not being able to hide in the shadows, not being able to brush something under the rug. It's a feeling of it's going to be out in the open for all to see, because that's the only way to heal it. If you don't know it exists, if you can't see it, if you don't know it's there, you can't work with it. You can't heal it. You can't make any adjustments as needed to it. And so I definitely feel like that full moon is bringing that up, as well as I feel like there's going to be a deepening, a rooting down into our spirituality, our faith, where we're going to need to like hold fast to that. We're going to need to really tune in to what our own beliefs are, what our own what keeps us steady in the eye of the storm, like what, it's like a tree. The image I'm getting is like a tree standing with like a really deep root structure, and it's a really big, beautiful tree, but it's in the middle of a storm where, the wind is blowing and the tree is swaying, and there's lots of rain, but the tree has this really beautiful, deep, widespread root structure that is keeping it grounded. And so what is going to keep you grounded? What part of your belief, your faith, your spirituality keeps you grounded during the eye of the storm? To me, that's the energy of this upcoming full moon. And then later, towards the end of June, we will have a new moon in Cancer. And that new moons generally are a fresh start. They're a new beginning. That's when we talk about setting your intention. If you want to do some new moon magic or intention work. And a new moon in Cancer is going to have themes of home, family, safety, security, healing, sensitivity, vulnerability, emotions, feelings. And so I feel like the way June is going to unfold is we are entering June with a wound. We are entering June with hurt. We are entering June with something inflamed that needs to be healed. And the full moon is going to really illuminate for us, really bring to light some truths about what needs to be healed. And, that full moon is in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. So there's also this element of fire, of being fired up. Perhaps even there could be anger or rage, or it could be fired up in terms of seeing something you need to take action on, being fired up and ready to take action. And then we are going to end the month with the new moon in Cancer, which is really going to provide an opportunity for healing, for letting that wound close, for really connecting with what helps you feel safe and secure, and what you need to do, what changes you need to make, what adjustments you need to make to really implement that in your life so you can move forward and heal. And this also applies to healing the nervous system. Our nervous system is really heavily shaped by our early life experiences. And a lot of our nervous system reactions are reactions because we do not feel safe. And usually it's because a situation or a person is a reflection of a situation or a person from our past that wasn't safe. And our minds, our bodies, it's really trying to protect us. And so reminding yourself that you are safe now, doing things that you can do to remind your physical body that you are safe now, are going to be really helpful. Some things that help kind of remind our like reptile brain, our kind of like very subconscious animalistic brain that we are safe. Hugging is actually really wonderful, but it has to be like long hugs, which can be to our like very aware conscious minds, it can feel a little awkward. But a long, 15-20 second hug sends a signal to our physical body that we are safe. For some people, deep breathing also is very helpful for having the physical body be aware that it is safe, that it is secure, because we can only achieve that deep breath when we're not being chased by a cheetah. And so that sends a signal to our body that we are safe because we are able to achieve this deep rhythmic breathing. And so that, to me, that's how June is going to unfold. And I know this is a little different from my usual forecast because this is pretty much all how I'm interpreting the energy. It's like I'm not even talking about transits or aspects. This is literally just me tuning in and feeling this. So I'd love to know after you listen to this, and even after June unfolds for you, if this resonated with you, if you would like me to do more of these. I just felt really called to share my insight because I know a lot of us are feeling very vulnerable right now. A lot of us are probably feeling our wounds close to the surface, feeling emotional. And I wanted to offer a little bit of hope, a little bit of that healing balm that I really feel like is coming. And so if you have been feeling, down or sensitive or even a little, lost or confused, I think a lot of us are feeling that right now. And, nothing is ever, well, it's not that it's ever, but generally things aren't quick fixes. Generally things don't heal quickly, as much as we wish they would. But I really do feel like the energy is there's some soothing to this energy that I feel coming, and I wanted you to know that in case you needed to hear that. So I hope this was helpful. And again, let me know. You can send me a DM, an email, however you want, but let me know if this was helpful for you because I would love to know. Until next time.